Over the last week, we got to watch the impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Many of you may have actually watched that impeachment trial here on this channel as I streamed all of it, well over 20 hours of impeachment proceedings right here, adding my commentary where I thought it was appropriate or where I just couldn't get myself to be quiet. And you might have done that because I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer, but I'm also a legal and political commentator here on YouTube. And I had a blast watching it, and mostly because of this guy on screen, Michael Veen, one of Trump's three lead counsels or three attorneys that were present at the impeachment. And he repeatedly and methodically destroyed the House manager's case. Now, if you don't know what happened, let me spoil it for you. Donald Trump was acquitted. He was not guilty of inciting an insurrection. He was not removed from office. He was not convicted on impeachment. And in any other trial in the world, that means he's not guilty. But because this is a political process, the media and the Democrats and some Republicans have been scrambling to cope as hard as possible and convince the world that Donald Trump is in fact guilty, even though they couldn't bring themselves to make him guilty. And the reason they couldn't is twofold. First, Michael Veen was a beast and dismantled all of the case that they brought very, very effectively. But the second reason is pretty simple. The House managers, who made a very good presentation on why the Capitol riots themselves were bad, failed to ever actually link Donald Trump to those riots. They couldn't do it. Because they can't, legally could not make the connection. Now, they also tried to build a very good case of emotional appeal towards the people who were in the room, who were actually present when the rioters entered the Capitol building and these guys had to be evacuated. Many of them were scared, and they tried to play on that emotional aspect of it. It wasn't effective enough. It was probably more effective than it should have been, and a lot of partisanship did play into the ultimate vote, of course, with all of the Democrats voting to convict Donald Trump and 7 Republicans as well. However, that's not enough. And if the Democrats had any integrity, at least some of them should have voted to acquit. Because legally, Donald Trump never met the standard for incitement. And had the House managers brought a different case with a different charge or multiple charges or done a little bit more work, they may have actually been able to impeach him. But in their rush to punish, they didn't build a proper case. And this is really a mistake that some attorneys can make. They get zealous on the issue rather than taking a cold and logical approach to the facts and the law. And since they failed to do that, they weren't able to win. But again, I have to go back to Michael Veen, who repeatedly put their case to shreds. And he didn't stop there. This interview is from right after the impeachment. He goes ahead and shreds the entire media, as stated by Jack Posobiec here. He shreds the entire media in this clip. We're going to watch some parts of it, and I am going to have a link to the whole thing in the description so you can watch the rest. But he is absolutely great. So let's take a quick look at some of the moments in this because they're juicy.
Joining us, let's get right into those words that we heard from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. He ended the trial with his passionate speech about President Trump's involvement in the insurrection. During it, he said that the former president is still liable for everything he did during his period in office. Are you expecting to face more charges against Mr. Trump in the near future, and do you anticipate being part of that defense?
No, that's just political rhetoric, and I was hopeful that something would come out of this, that the political rhetoric would stop out of Washington, D.C., but I guess apparently it hasn't.
Notice the long pause. He's done talking. She doesn't know what to do yet because he's supposed to be worked up and all this stuff. He doesn't buy into it. But I want to point something out. The reason he says, no, that's just political rhetoric is because there isn't a legal case for incitement against Donald Trump. There just isn't one. If you tried to bring the same case the House managers brought in this impeachment to a real court, it would be thrown out almost immediately. They didn't have evidence. They didn't have witnesses who could link Donald Trump to the incitement. All they had were a bunch of people saying the Capitol riots were bad. Yes, we know. But incitement is a heavily protected area of speech, and it's a really hard case to bring in the just at the outset. They can't bring that case because they don't have any place where Donald Trump actually asked anyone to do illegal things. Everything he actually asked people to do was legal. Come to D.C., come to the White House and talk. We're going to march down to the Capitol and make our voices heard. You cannot make the case that he asked people to go into the White House or into the Capitol building because he never actually does. Just because some people did that doesn't mean he asked for it. And that's the first and crucial element of incitement is inciting. And he didn't do it. So that's why he's fairly confident here that that's just political rhetoric. And you'll probably hear a lot of that political rhetoric again, as the media, the Democrats, and even some Republicans are in full-on cope mode over their inability to get this thing locked down. Moving on.
Were you, though, surprised to hear those words coming from the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate?
I'm not surprised to hear a politician say anything at all. No.
Well, throughout.
She still doesn't know what to do with this guy. He's so plain spoken. It's like a normal human is suddenly in Washington and they don't know what to do. I'm not surprised to hear anything a politician says at all. No. And what does that say about politicians and where you, me, where we all are on these guys? No one trusts them. No one believes them. He's calling them out right there. They're opportunistic snakes. No, I'm not surprised by anything. I don't care. She's, of course, going to fumble to find what to say next.
Throughout the trial, you denied that Mr. Trump had a role in inciting the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. You argued, first of all, that there was no insurrection. But during your closing arguments, you seemingly admitted that there was, in fact, an insurrection, using that word, saying that was not up for debate. What role did the former president play?
You didn't understand the case. I used the word
I'll give you the opportunity to clarify, sir.
Sure.
You didn't understand the case. Oh, God, you're a journalist talking about law. Please stop. And we're going to watch. I'm going to let him speak out the rest of this, and then we're going to finish it up. Like I said, the link to this is in the description. Go ahead and go check it out because the full clip, it's 7.5 minutes. It's really, really worth it. It's very, very satisfying. And also, once you do, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this whole thing and about Michael Veen. I think the guy's an absolute beast, as well as calm and well-spoken and methodical and probably a terrific attorney.
Sure. I used the word insurrection in my closing argument when quoting the charging documents. What happened at the Capitol on January 6th is absolutely horrific. But what happened at the Capitol during this trial was not too far away from that. The prosecutors in this case doctored evidence. They did not investigate this case, and when they had to come to the court of the Senate to put their case on, because they hadn't done any investigation, they doctored evidence. It was absolutely shocking, I think, when we discovered it and we were able to expose it and put it out. I think it turned a lot of senators. The American people should not be putting up with this. They need to look at who these House managers were and look to see whether these are the folks they want representing them. It was shocking to me.
Okay, I slightly misrepresented that in saying we were going to watch this clip, or watch this one clip. We're going to watch a little bit more because what happens next is beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's about this doctored evidence. Listen to how the journalist responds to this and then his response back. That's where we'll end it. But notice what he says. They doctored evidence. In any court, not only do you lose if you doctor evidence, you may get sanctioned. You could get disbarred for it. And they did it. And watch the apologetics fly out of the journalist here.
Wouldn't have believed it.
Let's follow up with a point that you're making right now about the House managers, as you say, doctoring evidence, and
as you say,
and the argument.
They didn't deny
for our viewers.
They didn't deny it. I put it in front of them 3 times.
To be clear for our viewers, what you're talking about now is a check mark. That's a verification on Twitter that did not exist on that particular tweet. A 2020 that should have actually read 2021, and the selective editing, you say, of the tapes. Is that how? Is that the doctor?
Look at the face. Look at his face. Wait. Oh my gosh, this guy's great.
Wait. Of what you're speaking?
That's not enough for you? That's not enough for you?
No,
wait. No,
sir,
no.
I'm trying.
Listen,
I am not a juror in this trial.
She's trying to be a post facto juror. That's of course what the media is. The media is putting Trump on trial to the public, even though he was just acquitted. I'm not a juror in this. Of course you are. Of course you're a juror. You're acting as one right now. You're trying to convince the American people that, oh, this doctoring of evidence wasn't so bad, and this guy is gonna.
I'm trying to be clear for our viewers is what you're referring to, because not everybody has been following.
It's not okay
not everybody,
to doctor
sir,
a little bit of evidence.
Respectfully. I have not said it is. I have not
said
it is okay.
Ma'am, your question is
I want to be clear for our viewers.
Listen.
Notice how she will not let him talk. She won't get it. She will not let him get that point out. She can't do it. She has to qualify it 1,000,000 times for our viewers, just so they understand, just so they know the context, right?
Listen, what
I want to be clear for our viewers about what exactly you're saying when you say doctored evidence.
The media has to start telling the right story in this country. The media is trying to divide this country. You are bloodthirsty for ratings, and as such, you're asking questions now that are already set up with a fact pattern. I can't believe you would ask me a question indicating that it's all right just to doctor a little bit of evidence. There's more stuff that we uncovered that they doctored, to be frank with you, and perhaps that will come out one day.
Oh, I hope
we
so.
won this case, and I'm not a sore loser, but what happened, or a sore winner, I should say, but what should happen is somebody should look at the conduct of these House managers. It's unconscionable, aside from all of the due process violations that my client had. And the media should be looking at a square, straight way. The straight way. When I watch the news, I watch one station and it's raining. I watch another station at the same time and it's sunny. Your coverage is so slanted, it's got to stop. You guys have to stop and start reporting more like PBS does, rather than a TV news show that doesn't have any journalistic integrity at all. What I'm telling you is that they doctored evidence. And I believe your question says, well, it's only a Twitter check and changing a year of a date here. They switched the date of a Twitter a year to try to connect it to this case. That's not a small thing, ma'am. The other thing they did is they put a check mark on something to make it look like it was a validated account when it wasn't. And when they were caught, they didn't say anything about it. They didn't even try to come up with an excuse about it. And that's not the way our prosecutors or our government officials should be conducting themselves. And the media shouldn't be letting them get away with it either. I'm tired of the biased media on both sides, left and right. What this country wants, what this country needs, is this country to come together, to take the left and the right and find a middle ground and start responsibly being our public officials, our elected officials. And one of the reasons why they do it is because of the media. Because the media wants to tell their narrative rather than just telling it like it is. And frankly,
we're just going to finish this out. Might as well.
I'm not in front of your cameras all the time, but what I've been subjected to this last week.
I understand, and I've given you the opportunity.
You don't want to hear the truth. Yeah. Okay.
I've given you the opportunity. I will remind you that what I said was that for our viewers who have not been following all of the hours of this trial, to be clear about what you are speaking about. And I understand
I'm speaking
that you
about
seem
the House
very
manager's
upset.
failure to prove their case. That's what I'm telling
And
you. They weren't able to prove their case.
Acquittal. You have won the acquittal of your client.
Yes,
and if you'd
I
like
did.
to continue to talk about this conversation, we can have that discussion.
I don't need to.
But for me to ask a question,
A
to
slanted question that was set up to say it's okay for them to cheat. That was your question. Isn't it okay for them to cheat?
I didn't
it's
say
just
that.
a little bit. You said, to be fair, it was only
fine.
a check on the
You're
Twitter.
not...
That's what you said.
She is seething.
You gotta live by your words. That's the problem. The media has to start living by the truth and not try to create a narrative.
Michael Van der Veen.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate.
Yep.
Okay. I see you taking.
She is seething right now. She has no idea what just happened, and she got obliterated, and it was beautiful. I love it. Again, we ended up watching basically the full clip, but I make no apologies for that. It's down in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments. I can't get enough of this guy. He's great. He's great. Till next time, guys. Peace. Peace.